First team on the docket is the Chiefs. So, Kansas City Chiefs. Let me share my screen real quick. PFF, this is what the projected starting lineup is going to be for offense and defense. Let me get here's the depth chart for the Kansas City Chiefs. So they think that Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Rashid Rice, Josh Simmons, who they just drafted out of Ohio State. He's coming off of that major injury, but he was projected to be the best tackle coming out of the draft, best offensive lineman in general coming off the draft before the injury. And then you have Creed Humphreys, you have Trey Smith, Jawan Taylor, Travis Kelce. He's going to be coming back for another year. Then you have Patrick Mahomes, Isaiah Pacheco, and Carson Steele. So that is the projected starting lineup. And then you have Jalen Royals, who I've been hearing a lot about in terms of training camp. He's been getting a lot of first-team reps, probably because Rashid Rice is going to be out for a little bit. Although he looks to be not playing the slot, they still have Juju Smith-Schuster. I forgot to mention Juju Smith-Schuster in our other video. So they still have him, and they brought in Jalen Royals. They still have Sky Moore as well. I'm trying to figure out, how does Sky Moore still have a job in 2025? He hasn't been good for that
because
squad.
He's cheap. I don't
know. But this is the lineup. This is the offensive line. This is what it's going to look like for the Chiefs. On the defensive side, they still have George Karlaftis. I believe they just paid him not too long ago. Chris Jones.
Last year?
Yeah. But they're going to have him for a minute. Nick Bolton, Trent McDuffie, Brian Cook, Christian Fulton, Jaden Hicks, Jalen Watson. You guys get the idea. But this is who the Chiefs are going to have for 2025. A lot of the same crew with a couple of different names that they didn't have in 2024. Brian, what is your thoughts on the Chiefs this year? Do you like what they've added? Do you think they're going to still be a contender this year? Where are you with the Chiefs?
I still think the Chiefs, as long as you got Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, this team is always going to be in contention mode in my eyes. So I think the Chiefs, they'll still probably win the division. I think they're poised to win 11 plus games, probably even 12 or more. But yeah, I like what they did, drafting Josh Simmons, getting some help on the left side, protecting Pat Mahomes' blind side, because the Eagles were able to beat them by only getting pressure with only 4 and dropping everybody back into coverage. And I think that is the formula to beat this Chiefs team. You just got to have the dudes to be able to get to the QB while being able to drop everyone back in coverage. But I do have some concerns with them as far as the run game goes. Isaiah Pacheco isn't what he used to be when he first came out, and people was all like, oh, yeah, he's blah, blah, blah. He's definitely looked like he's lost a step. And so it's going to be interesting to see that. Maybe they could get some contributions out of Brashard Smith. Elijah Mitchell still has some juice, who they just picked up in the offseason. So I expect the Chiefs to still do some great things, man. I like what they got on defensive end. George Karlaftis, Chris Jones still, even though he's getting up there in age, he's still one of the best D tackles, and probably the best D tackle in the league. Trent McDuffie is still all-pro caliber. They got Leo Chenal, Nick Bolton, so they'll still be a good team, man. I don't have any doubts about the Chiefs being able to win a whole bunch of games, and we all know that team is, even if they are pedestrian in the regular season, once January and February comes, we all know how they get down. So as long as they got Mahomes and company, they're going to be all right.
Yeah, I expect the defense to still be a really good defense this year. They have a lot of really good pieces. That secondary is going to be really good. The front four is going to be really good. And they still have Nick Bolton as the Mike linebacker. So they have some really good defense. They have a really good defense. They have really good pieces on the defense. As for the offense, they, like you mentioned with the offensive line, I think they'll improve a little bit, especially with the way that they looked last year against the Eagles. They definitely needed to upgrade on that offensive line. Although they did lose Thuney, they traded away their all-pro, Pro Bowl caliber guard to the Bears. They did bring in, like you mentioned, the rookie from Ohio State. They brought him in. He was projected to be the number 1 offensive lineman coming into the draft before the injury. So they have upgraded in certain positions on the offensive line. They still have a little bit of that weakness on the left guard and the right tackle, but ultimately they have a pretty decent offensive line. It's Patrick Mahomes, it's Andy Reid. They know how to scheme guys. They know how to scheme certain things on offense. So I trust those two a lot. And the running back, it's going to be a committee. It's going to be Isaiah Pacheco. It's going to be Elijah Mitchell. It's going to be Kareem Hunt. So they're going to keep shuffling in different guys into the lineup. And we'll see how productive they are. And then when you look at the wide receivers, I already mentioned before on the depth chart, I like this wide receiving core. Rashid Rice, we don't know how many games he's going to miss this season. He's going to have a suspension. We'll see how many games he misses this season, but he'll eventually come back. I expect him to be healthy for the remainder of the season. Hollywood Brown, he's always dealing with injuries, but the fact that they drafted a wide receiver and he's getting first team reps lets me know that even if Hollywood Brown is out, that they'll have somebody replace him in the event he gets injured. And then Xavier Worthy, he was pretty decent for them last year. We'll see if he can make that jump compared to last year, where he was still relatively productive in his role. Travis Kelce, we have Noah Gray. I believe they'll do more 12 personnel this year with Travis Kelce and Noah Gray, or maybe even just have Noah Gray play more snaps and have Travis Kelce go to the bench a little bit to get some rest since he's up there in age. I also hear that Travis Kelce has gotten in more shape. I heard last year he was a little bit out of shape. I don't know what that was all about, but now it seems like he's in better condition than ever before, although he is up there in age. So I like this team. I believe they're the odds-on favorite in this division going away. I do wonder, are the Chiefs, is this the year that the Chiefs finally aren't able to get back to the Super Bowl again, considering you have the Ravens and you have the Bills that are always getting better? Who knows? But all I can say is that the Chiefs, I believe they're still going to be contenders. I believe they're still going to be in the race for the number 1, number 2, number 3 seed. And you're going to have to face the Chiefs in the playoffs. They're going to have home field advantage. I don't know how many games they'll have in the playoffs where they have home field advantage, but ultimately it doesn't really matter when you have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. So, yeah, man, it seems like another year the Chiefs, they're going to be in contention. They're always going to be in it to win the Super Bowl. It's just, do they have the requisite talent to continue to go to the Super Bowl every single year? Because you can only do it for so many times. You can only do it so many times. So I'm just wondering, is this the year where they just can't do it? Like the Ravens just have their number this year, or the Bills just have their number this year? Because this is football. It's not basketball where you have the best player in the world and you have the best team because you can go over the luxury tax or whatever like that, and you can just continue to go to this championship every single year. You know, football is a lot different. You got injuries, you have teams that are constantly getting better because of the draft, because of free agency. How many times can the Chiefs get away with putting together, relatively decent rosters, but not elite level rosters, and still get to the Super Bowl? I don't know. And then Mahomes play as well. He hasn't been the greatest quarterback in the past 2 years. He hasn't played elite level football. He's been a lot smarter, I will say that, but he hasn't played elite level football like we've seen from him in 22, 21, and 2019, where he's playing on an MVP level. Can Mahomes still make the Super Bowl while not playing MVP football? I don't know. But what I do know is that they're going to win the division. I can definitely say that.
Yeah. I think I'm not gonna say it's a foregone conclusion, but they're a really strong team still. And they just ran into a super team borderline with the Eagles. The Eagles was able to rush forward and still get tons of pressure. So unless a team like the Ravens or something can replicate that, we're gonna see.
Well, according to Madden, the Ravens have the highest rating in Madden. They're like a 90+ rating. So Madden thinks they have the best team in the NFL. So we'll see.
What does Madden know about anything?
That's a good point. We'll see. Let's rank all these teams real quick. Number 1 for me, I'm obviously going to go with the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid. They have a pretty decent roster. They've made the Super Bowl 3 straight years. They have 3 Super Bowls. I got to go with the Chiefs at number 1. The number two, I'm gonna go with the Los Angeles Chargers with Justin Herbert, with Jim Harbaugh. The fact that they're improving that offense, the fact that they still have a really good defense. I like what they're doing. Amarion Hampton. They have a really good roster. They finally giving Justin Herbert some pieces to work with. The number three, I'm gonna go with the Broncos. Bo Nix, Sean Payton. That defense looks absolutely amazing. I would be surprised if it's not a top five defense in the NFL this year. It looks like it's going to be an elite defense. They drafted Jade Barron. So they have some pieces, even on offense to a certain extent. I would like their offensive pieces to be a little bit better. Another really good wide receiver alongside Cortland Sutton would be nice, but they can make it work. They made it work last year, so I expect them to be okay. Their offensive line is pretty decent as well. They brought in R.J. Harvey, like you mentioned, and they also brought in Evan Ingram, who's a pretty decent passing tight end. So that's what I have. And then four, I have the Raiders. Obviously, I just don't think they have the requisite talent to compete on a level that will prevail them over the Broncos or the Chargers or the Chiefs. So that is my rankings. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going to go the same order. Chiefs number one, reigning Super Bowl participants. They made the last three Super Bowls. I feel like it would be malpractice to not put them as the number one. They haven't given us a reason to really not crown them as anything, because we all know the greatness of Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce, Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo as well. So I feel like it's clear cut. They're going to be number one in the division. Two, I'm going Chargers as well. They have the quarterback advantage over the Broncos, but they still have, Jim Harbaugh is a great coach. He really overachieved his first year, in my opinion. And then they went and drafted some solid. They went and got run game help. They drafted Amarian Hampton in the first. They went as Najee Harris, even though he's recovering from a firework injury. That still helped regardless. I feel like they got better compared to last year in that department. Lad McConkey, who knows, he may get 1,200 yards this year, because he was hooping as a rookie. QJ unfortunately still can't catch, but I still like what they got on the defensive side of the ball, and Jim Harbaugh gonna have them guys ready to play hard week in and week out. Just need Justin Herbert to show up in January. Three, I'm going Broncos because they another team I feel like overachieved last year, but the foundation is really solid, especially on the defense. And that defense, like you said, they should be a top five unit throughout the season. And on the offensive end, they getting Courtland Sutton back, re-signed, don't have to worry about no contract foolishness. And Bo Nix second year, unlike another team, Bo Nix should develop a little more. Sean Payton knows what he's doing on the offensive side of the ball. Run game could be a little lackluster for what you want to do, but maybe R.J. Harvey has a breakout type season like a Bucky Irvin or something. Who knows? So, yeah, Broncos is three. And for the fourth team would obviously be the Raiders. They just aren't there talent-wise yet. And, it's a first year of a new system and scheme. And they're really just trying to establish that culture, like we said before. So, yeah, that's how to go. Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders.